Tonight we look beneath the waves into a world of immense strategic importance. Submarines are the ultimate stealth weapon, silent sentinels patrolling the deep, unseen and unheard. For Canada, with the world's longest coastline, submarines are a necessity, not a luxury. They monitor vast maritime territories, from the Atlantic and Pacific to the increasingly contested Arctic. In today's uncertain world, projecting power and gathering intelligence undetected is vital for national defense. A capable submarine force deters adversaries and provides early warning of threats in North American waters. North America's security is a shared responsibility between the US and Canada, with Canadian submarines playing a vital role in continental defense. The Arctic's melting ice is opening new shipping routes and attracting global powers like Russia and China, both expanding their submarine fleets. For Canada and the US, maintaining a credible Arctic presence is now a strategic imperative. Submarines are the most effective tool for asserting sovereignty and monitoring activity in this remote region. Without them, the continent's northern approach would be left unguarded. Canada's aging fleet is creating a dangerous capability gap, affecting both Canadian and US security. The decision on new submarines will shape the balance of power in the Arctic and the US-Canada defense partnership for decades. Canada's current submarine fleet is a cautionary tale in military procurement. In 1998, Canada bought 4 second-hand Upholder-class submarines from the UK, renamed the Victoria-class. From the start, they suffered fires, floods, and mechanical failures, spending more time in dry dock than on patrol. Today, only one of the 4 is operational, the rest are in deep maintenance or out of service. A single submarine can't patrol 3 oceans or maintain a presence in the Arctic. The fleet is over 30 years old, with rising maintenance costs and dwindling spare parts. The Victoria-class will be decommissioned by the mid-2030s, creating a hard deadline for replacement. Canada must have new submarines delivered by 2035 to avoid losing its underwater capability. The urgency is real. Delays could leave Canada and its allies exposed. At the 2024 NATO summit, Canada committed to increasing defense spending and acquiring a modern submarine fleet. The current capability gap is a concern for NATO, especially the US, which has had to help fill it. Replacing these submarines is about restoring Canada's sovereignty and fulfilling its NATO obligations. With time running out, Canada's patrol submarine project has narrowed the field to 2 contenders: Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems and South Korea's Hanwha Oceans. The German offer is the Type 212 CD, an evolution of a proven NATO platform promising interoperability and a delivery by 2034. The South Korean KSS-3, or Dosan-an Changho class, is larger, uses advanced lithium-ion batteries for longer submerged operations, and promises faster delivery. Potentially 4 boats by 2035. Germany's pitch is NATO commonality and reliability. South Korea's is cutting-edge tech and speed. Both options would be the largest defense procurement in Canadian history, with up to 12 submarines and a multi-billion-dollar price tag. Ottawa faces a classic dilemma: proven NATO integration or advanced technology and rapid delivery from a non-NATO supplier. The decision will shape Canada's Navy for decades. The German model offers seamless joint operations and logistics with NATO allies. The South Korean design offers longer endurance and a faster build. Both companies are vying for a contract that will define Canada's maritime future. The stakes are high and the choice is anything but simple. Canada must balance alliance priorities, technology, and urgency. The world is watching. Before Canada chose its finalists, the US made a bold pitch. At the 2025 G7 summit, President Trump urged Canada to buy American, specifically Virginia-class nuclear-powered submarines. The offer, a fleet of the world's most advanced attack submarines with unmatched range and endurance for $20 billion. Trump framed it as a way to strengthen North American security and deepen US-Canada defense ties. The Virginia-class can stay submerged for months and cover vast distances, ideal for Arctic patrols. A Canadian fleet of these subs would create a seamless North American underwater force, countering Russian and Chinese ambitions. The proposal was also about supporting the US defense industry and jobs. For Canada, the idea of nuclear submarines wasn't new, debated for decades but always controversial. Proponents saw them as the only way to truly patrol 3 oceans. Opponents cited cost, complexity, and political risk. Trump's public offer put pressure on Ottawa, but also reignited old debates. The question, could Canada afford, operate, and politically accept nuclear-powered submarines? The answer would shape the next phase of the procurement. Despite the appeal of the Virginia-class, Canada declined the U.S. offer. The main reason: cost. Nuclear submarines are staggeringly expensive to buy, operate, and maintain. Canada's Navy has no experience with nuclear propulsion, and building the necessary infrastructure would take decades and billions more. Politically, Canada's non-nuclear military policy made the idea controversial and likely to spark public backlash. The government prioritized a capable, affordable, and sustainable solution, conventionally powered, with stealth and under-ice capability. The American offer didn't fit these needs: too costly, too complex, and too politically risky. Ottawa's decision was pragmatic, not a rejection of the alliance, but a choice for what fits Canada's reality. The U.S. remains Canada's closest ally, but defense choices must serve national interests. Canada moved forward with conventional options. Another factor in Canada's decision was the state of the U.S. defense industrial base. American shipyards are struggling to meet the U.S. Navy's own demand for new submarines, falling short of production goals. The AUKUS pact with Australia has further stretched capacity, with doubts about delivering promised Virginia-class subs on time. Adding a Canadian order would have overwhelmed the two U.S. shipyards already facing labor shortages and supply chain issues. The top priority for these yards is building the next-generation Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines. There simply wasn't spare capacity for a major foreign order. Even if Canada wanted nuclear subs, the U.S. couldn't deliver them in time to meet Canada's urgent 2035 deadline. Waiting until the 2040s was not an option. Canada's turn to Germany and South Korea was a realistic response to these industrial limits. The choice was about timing and feasibility, not just politics. Canada's submarine choice will ripple across NATO and the North Atlantic. A capable Canadian fleet helps monitor the GIUK Gap, a key route for Russian submarines entering the Atlantic. This frees up US and British assets for other missions and strengthens NATO's anti-submarine warfare. Choosing Germany's Type 212 CD would deepen transatlantic defense ties, with shared training and logistics among NATO allies. The Arctic is the new frontier. Russia and China are increasing their presence as the ice recedes. A fleet of up to 12 new Canadian submarines capable of under-ice operations would transform the region's security. It would give Canada and the US unprecedented control over the northern maritime approaches. The project is about more than replacing old subs. It's about securing the continent's third coast. A robust Canadian submarine force in the Arctic directly enhances US security. The stakes are continental. With two finalists, Canada enters the critical phase of its submarine decision. Prime Minister Carney's cabinet will evaluate the German and South Korean proposals in detail: cost, delivery, industrial benefits, and performance. A key moment: Carney's visit to Hanwha Shipyard in South Korea. Ottawa must choose between a formal competitive process or direct negotiation, balancing speed and transparency. Memories of past procurement overruns like the F-35 add pressure to control costs and deliver on time. The final decision is expected by early 2026. This will be the largest military purchase in Canadian history, defining defense for the next 50 years. The choice is not just technical but strategic, impacting alliances, industry, and sovereignty. The world, especially Washington, is watching. Canada's submarine decision signals a shift in North American defense. The U.S. can no longer be the sole security provider. Allies like Canada must diversify and take on more responsibility. Acquiring a modern fleet of up to 12 conventional submarines marks a new seriousness in Canadian defense. This move makes Canada a major contributor to continental and NATO security, especially in the Arctic. The new subs, German or South Korean, will operate closely with the U.S. Navy, requiring seamless interoperability. North American security will depend on this partnership with complementary capabilities. A stronger Canadian military is in America's best interest, freeing U.S. resources for global challenges. Canada's ability to secure its coastline and the Arctic makes the continent safer. This project is more than a purchase. It's an investment in a balanced, robust security architecture for the 21st century. The future of North American defense is being decided now, beneath the waves.